Welcome guys to tonight's late night agenda. You know who I am at this point. I'm your host Craig and you are very welcome along to the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us tonight. There's quite a lot to get through. We can talk about that shit show that was Liverpool's game yesterday. We can talk about the Champions League tonight. We can have a chat about the weekend and Liverpool's game against Fulham. We can also talk about the big topic that you see in the headline of the stream tonight. What to do with that Liverpool midfield. It really is a question that we need to answer, guys. Creativity is the word that everybody keeps coming up with. But look, we'll get stuck into that as the stream goes on. Actually, do you know what? Tonight, usually, I've come over the past couple of nights and I've said to you guys, get ready for Manchester City revelations. Get ready for some more stuff on there. There isn't really that much in today's one, to be fair. A few little things, but nothing that much. Nothing that's going to take much time away from the stream. Nabil said, scored again today. You did indeed, mate. I mean, no bother to you over there in Leon scoring, but you let a 2-goal lead slip as well, buddy. Lots of people joining us already. Subi, Evan, Sam, Fun Gamer, Mr. Bugsy, Paul Turner, Rod, how are we? Dirty Girl, The Revanite, Niall and Tom. Great to have you all with us. Thank you for joining. Let's have a quick look, I suppose, guys, back towards last night's game. It wasn't great. I've watched it back since and there's not that much we can take from it from a positive sense. I'm sure all the United trolls will be in tonight with that lucky win they got, said The Revanite. Do you know what though, mate? You gotta buy a ticket to win the raffle, and it was very Mourinho-esque the way they went about it. Big Fellaini coming on at the end. I don't know what to say. They were outplayed for 99% of the game and somehow managed to win it, but you know what, they did it, so what else? Then you've got Raheem Sterling tripping himself up and getting penalties as well in the Champions League for Manchester City, which is absolutely priceless. I'm sick, have to go swimming tomorrow, said Fun Gamer. Mate, don't complain about having to go swimming. Having to go swimming's a fucking good day out. Lots of people would love to be going swimming. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're unwell, by the way, but come on, mate, swimming's class. Louise is in. Louise, how are you? Great to have you. Lord Fellaini to the rescue, said The Revanite. He is the epitome of a Jose Mourinho player, isn't he? Mr. Fellaini. But look, they did it. You know, fuck them. They go and got their win. Let Gark celebrate. Let Gark get his little pecker out and enjoy the evening. We'll carry on talking about the Reds. Look ahead to the game against Fulham at the weekend. The big topic, as I said to you guys, the big question really is around the Reds midfield. And I want to know what you guys want to see at the weekend. And I'm absolutely sure that we're going to see Shaqiri start this game. We have to. Adam Lallana is just not going to cut it at the minute. He's just not up to the standard that we need at this moment in time. I don't mean to be a little bit harsh on the guy. I don't mean to say he's not good enough. He's a squad player for me at this moment in time. And whether he ever gets back to the level that he was previously, I don't know. But I think this team has moved past him personally. If I'm being bluntly honest about it, I think this Liverpool team has moved past Adam Lallana. But the midfield is going to cause us a headache. I can't wait to see if Keita comes back in. He makes a difference. I look back over that game yesterday. I'm looking for positives, and there really was nothing in it. Greg, news from Manchester City attendance: 93,000 shirt sales, 2 million scarves. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, mate. I mean, that's a fairly quiet night, isn't it, for them? Just the 93,000 shirt sales. In fairness, it was that name and numbers on the back as well to get the extra tenner in. I think we need big reinforcements. Excuse me, the Reverend said, I think we need big reinforcements. Why can we be ambitious and get a few midfielders next summer? I'd get Son if possible. You're not going to get Son, mate. He's got away with isn't the right word. That's absolutely not fair to describe to him. He's been pardoned from national service with South Korea after winning the Asian Games, so he's free to play at Spurs there and sign a new deal. I can't remember if he's already signed a new deal at Spurs or not. I think he may have, but I could be wrong on that one. But yeah, we're not going to get Son, so I'd forget about that one. Fekir he's an option. There's nothing else to say. I'm still baffled as to why we didn't get him in the summer. And I also can't understand the reason as to why we wouldn't get him in the summer and then go get him in January. That would be one of the most strange things I've seen supporting this football club. A player who was available in the summer and we walked away from the deal, but yet went back in from in January. I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to it. I'd love to see him come in, but it would be very, very strange for us to have done that and then go and bring him in. Dunjun said Shaqiri was sorely missed. He most certainly was, my friend. He most certainly was. Subi said my head teacher is a Liverpool supporter. He was also disappointed with yesterday's score. I don't blame him, Subi, mate. It's I've spoke to a couple of my mates today. I've been interacting with people on social media all day. I've been writing a few emails back and forth to people as well. We received an email asking us to go and do some filming over in Liverpool next week, which of course I had to turn down because we couldn't get over to do it. So I was chatting back and forth with a lot of Reds fans today, and nobody is really chipper, shall we say. Nobody's really feeling that great about yesterday. And a lot of people are just hoping that they can put it right at the weekend against Fulham, because after this game we've got an international break coming up again. Yeah, look, this could be a big weekend. If Liverpool go and get the 3 points, we'll go and get them at home against Fulham, which we should be doing, let's be honest. Fulham are in a really bad way at the minute. And then you've got the derby, the Manchester derby as well. So someone's dropping points there. And then I was looking at other teams' fixtures. There's a few tricky games coming up for our competitors in and around the top of the league. So there will be points dropped. So the opportunity is there for Liverpool right now. We need to capitalise. People starting to question the manager. This is a tough one, because everybody, I think, is perfectly within the rights to say they believe the manager made an incorrect decision vis-a-vis bringing Shaqiri over or not. I think he did the right thing personally, leaving him there. We can say he did the wrong thing about different choices, but there's been a fair few people who've been popping up on my timeline. I don't know if they're just trying to wind me up, but there's been a few Klopp out merchants. And again, when I talk about Klopp out merchants, I'm going to refer to the way I refer to some of the Manchester City fans. These are the type of fans that I would call new money fans. I think you guys know what I mean when I say new money fans. I mean blow-ins, basically. People who are only here because Liverpool are starting to do well. Glory hunting fans. These are the Klopp out merchants for what I can see. And the same with Manchester City. That's where I think a lot of their fan bases come from. And it's not a shock. Successful teams do pick up a lot of new fans around the world, sell a lot of new shirts around the world, and that's the way the business goes, I suppose. Rod said, I watched back the entire game yesterday. Apart from the individual ball control and mistakes, the only thing that went truly pear-shaped was the connection between the midfield and the attack. That's a big thing though, isn't it, Rod? It really is a big thing, mate. Nobody can fault the players we have in midfield with regards to work ethic, I don't think. We've got Gini Wijnaldum, we've got James Milner in there. Adam Lallana is a different situation. I think he was only there because we hadn't got Naby Keita fully fit and ready to go. Yes, he was on the bench, but you wouldn't have got a full game out of him. You probably wouldn't have even got 70 minutes out of him. Then you've got Shaqiri, who's not over there, so there's not really a link there for the players between the midfield and the attack. And we don't even have Jordan Henderson available for that one. He was back in Liverpool, so the options available to the gaffer were pretty restricted there yesterday. Stephen Richards said, hit the like button, guys, and please do. We're getting close to 4,500 subscribers, which is amazing, so thank you all for that one. If you're new to the stream, please do hit that subscribe button. If you've got 2 accounts, go and subscribe on the other account as well. I love hitting big numbers, and 4.5k is a nice little stretch on the way, so thank you guys for your support. Claire Dean said, I truly think all will come right and soon, but a crappy week. Bah humbug. Bah humbug is pretty much where I'm at as well, Claire. It's been tough. It's been tough, but I'm with you. I'm fully with you, my friend. I think Liverpool are going to come good as well. Craig, what top is that? It is a Spanish tracksuit top, mate. Just another top I picked up when I was over in America. There was a sale on in the soccer shop. I say soccer shop, that's what it was called, that I was in over there. And I got this this fucking Spanish tracksuit top and a few other shirts when I was over there. Connor, mate, I see you're in the chat. Thank you. I forgot to message you back before I started, buddy. Thank you for uploading the thumbnail. Connection between midfield and attack was non-existent, said Connor. Wasn't exactly helped by the fact that our main tactic was to lump the ball up to the wingers. And you're spot on. Exactly that. And it didn't matter where it came from, Connor, whether it was coming from either of our full-backs playing it up the line towards our wingers. When we say wingers, I mean Mane and Salah. Or whether that came from our centre-backs playing long diagonals over the top. We were playing those balls and there was nobody there to back them up, nobody to make the runs, nobody to give them support. So when they picked up the ball, Mo Salah had 3 players around him and he's nobody there, nobody to pass it to. So I fully get where you're coming from. It's something I said yesterday myself. And I don't know if this is to do with our new system. I don't know if this is to do with the manager trying to save legs. I don't know if this is the manager trying to not turn over possession and get caught in the counter-attack. But either way, it is affecting us in certain games. Now, if we go and get a goal or 2 up against teams and we get that bit of arrogance back, we can play. But I don't know, we're just not swarming teams like we used to. I don't know what the cause of this is, because if we go back to last season, yes, we had Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. That's the only major difference here I can see as to why we aren't doing or aren't capable or seemingly capable of doing what we were doing at the latter part of last season. Now look, players are still getting up to speed. I know that sounds crazy. That sounds like a silly thing to say. But it was a very, very inconsistent start to the season. Players had starts back themselves. They had international breaks in September and October, and now we've got another international break in November. That sounds crazy that people mightn't be up to speed yet, but I actually think it's true. That's not an excuse, by the way. These are professional players. 11 league games into the season, I would fully expect us to be playing better than we are. It's been masked up to now and it's been okay because we've been getting results. And I would be fucking perfectly fine with that to happen for the entire season. But if it's getting to a stage where we're going away in the Champions League to Red Star Belgrade, and with all due respect to Red Star Belgrade, Liverpool should be getting a result over there. So to go over there and be well and truly beaten the way we were, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to this football club. And again, that is no... I'm not by any means trying to belittle Red Star Belgrade there. They did their job yesterday perfectly well. For us, we deserve better. With the money we've invested, with the players that we have at the manager's disposal, with the management that we have, we should have done better. And we should be playing better this season. Winning is great. And I will take 38 games winning ugly. But it's not Liverpool. Or it hasn't been Liverpool since Jurgen Klopp has come in. And I can't quite put my finger on what the difference has been this season. The easy thing for us all to do, and I've lumped myself in with everybody in this one, is to just talk about that link player or to talk about the 10. But I don't think it's just the 10. I think we have to look at the 10 and then look at the front 3 to go with that 10. Because our back 4, overall, including the goalkeeper actually, so the back 5 I think have been pretty damn consistent so far this season. I mean, we would have taken their form last season and been over the moon with it. So I think we can say we're quite happy. Well, I'm quite happy anyway. I can't speak for you guys with the back 5. Then we come to the midfield, and it's been a bit of a stop-start season with regards to who's playing the 6. So we had Jordan Henderson in there. He got injured. Then we had James Milner have a go. We had Gini Wijnaldum have a go. Recently we've seen Fabinho come in and have a go, and we all hope that Fabinho is the answer to that problem. That long term we will see Fabinho in the 6, but again, no consistency. We've had a good midfield season so far from James Milner and Gini Wijnaldum, but that's good in a professional sense. That's good in a work ethic sense, doing the right things, but again, no guile there from either. Yes, Milner is good. Milner has got some records for Champions League assists, but we all know that what you get from James Milner most of the time is an excellent performance, everything done pretty damn well. His passes made, his runs made, distance covered, tracking back, but you don't get a perler from 25 yards, or you don't get a beautiful long diagonal ball over the top onto Mo Salah's foot or anything like that. You get consistency, but without that spark, and sometimes that spark is what we need. This season we haven't really had that moment either where Liverpool have felt an injustice, or we've come close with an opportunity and then all of a sudden we've just clicked and we go on a run, we go on a 15-20 minute period, we blow teams away. I'm going to read some of your comments now because I'm rambling a little bit now because I know I'm clutching at straws here, because the real answer to this question around the midfield situation is, for me, I don't know how we can solve it with what we have available. There's only so many ways we can readjust the 3, and we can all say we want Shaqiri to play, and with the best of intentions we can all hope he does really well. We're all really happy with the guy at the club. He's fit in brilliantly. Love the little guy. But what happens if Shaqiri goes a game or 2 and that isn't quite working for him? Do we start to throw him under the bus then as well? And then we're back to this equation around, well look, it's only Adam Lallana available to the manager, because Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is going to be coming back anytime soon. As much as we'd love him to. My God, we'd love him to. Love that guy. Absolutely love Chambo. He ain't going to be back anytime soon. So between now and when the window opens in January, we need a solution, or we need a part-time solution. I'll open it up to you guys. See if you guys can come up with anything that maybe I haven't thought of. I'm sure you can. You guys are always saving my ass and coming up with great ideas. But for me, the only options I can see available is, as I said, giving Shaqiri a run there, or even perhaps dropping Firmino into the 10, I suppose, and moving Daniel Sturridge up front. Do you get the best out of Firmino that way? Can he provide that link? Maybe Mane could provide that link. I don't know. Craig, do you think it was correct for Jurgen Klopp to leave Shaqiri out of the squad last night? Personally, I think it's because those fans legit wants to kill him. Louis, mate, there's two answers to this question. The first answer is yes, I think he was correct to do what he did. He put his player first, and I commend our manager for that one. But this begs another question, mate. Why should he had to have left him at home? Why should we even have this concern? I think it was Daniel van der Peer that made the great comment on Twitter where he said, if Red Star Belgrade couldn't 100% guarantee the safety of any player, or if any club couldn't guarantee the safety of any player, then they shouldn't be allowed to be in the competition. And that's kind of where I stand on this one. I was glad to see Klopp err on the side of caution, but I can't fully claim to understand the absolute social instability that might have caused. But yes, I think he did the right thing, but I also understand the people that think it's football and he should have been safe. He should have been able to go over there and play that game. It's up to what you take from it, mate. And for me, I think the manager did the right thing. I think if we had have won that game, this wouldn't have been a conversation for most of us. Imran said he wants Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Gomez, Robbo. Right, happy with all that. Fabinho, Gini, Keita, Mane, Salah, Firmino. Do you know what, mate? That's a pretty damn good team. I will take that, mate, at the weekend. I absolutely will. Good shout there, Imran. Anto said, I honestly think we're missing Henderson, Craig. By the way, this is Tony Kelly, who just have another account. Brilliant, thanks for letting me know, Tony. Yes, mate, we are. And it's at times like this where some of our fans start to see what maybe it is that Jordan Henderson does. He might not do everything glitzy and glamorously, but he does things well most of the time. I've said before, Jordan Henderson's one of the few players I think Liverpool have that can actually control the tempo of a game of football. He mightn't be able to make breakthrough runs, or he mightn't be able to score goals from 30 yards as often as we'd like him to, but he can dictate the tempo of a game. He can keep the ball moving. He can get us going in the right direction. He can point to people where to go. He can wait till the right move is available and move a player forward. You often see Jordan Henderson, he points around, he moves players around. He's not shy about letting them know where he wants them. Whatever your thoughts are on Jordan Henderson, I'll never accept that anybody doesn't believe that Jordan Henderson is an excellent Premier League level midfielder. Whether you think he's at that elite level or not, I understand. But don't be fooled. Jordan Henderson is an excellent Premier League level midfielder. There's a reason why he's been capped so much for England. There's a reason why Jurgen Klopp thought so highly or thinks so highly of him. And there's a reason why other managers that he's worked under say the same thing. Because he's an absolute professional who does his job well. It mightn't be glamorous, but that position for Liverpool is not an easy position to play. Brian and Missy, the Bulldog Bully, say, I don't give a shit what anyone said. Hendo holds us together. Megan Onke said, need to play Salah down the middle. That's pretty much what we've been doing though, mate. To me anyway, when I've looked at the team selection, we all automatically think of him as a wide right, but he's been the most furthest forward player we've had. If you look at when we were defending a corner or anything, I think Mo Salah's the only one that's given licence to stay up the field. So for me, although we might not have him down as a 9 on paper, he probably is our most forward-thinking player. So he probably is down the middle to an extent. I know he's coming in off the right-hand side, but he's our centre-forward pretty much in my eyes. I know that sounds weird, but to me, I've always seen him as our centre-forward. And going to the West Ham game in February, are West Ham fans dangerous? Home or away, I can't remember. That West Ham game will be away. Will that be away? We played West Ham this season. I can't remember if it was home or away. Honestly, mate, you'll have to remind me. I can't remember if we beat West Ham home or away. We beat them 3 or 4-0. 4-0, we got a dodgy penalty. I can't remember if that was home or away, though. Or no, we didn't get a dodgy penalty. We got a goal that was offside. That was it. Craig, now you've lost your tan. You're like the white Italian ref. The hills have eyes, fella. Don't be calling me that Italian ref, Pierluigi Collina, for fuck's sake. Come on, can we just stick to Pepe Reina or something along those lines? I haven't really lost my tan that much. It's more this fucking camera and the lighting system in the gaff here. But or maybe I'm just convincing myself I still have the tan. Craig, do you think Red Star deserved it by the way I've schooled? Oh, yes, I do, mate. I do think they deserved it. I'm not a begrudger. I think if a team go out and put in the performance like Red Star did last night in front of their home fans, they did their job. So yeah, well done to them. I've no hard feelings or ill feelings towards Red Star. I don't feel like we were screwed out of the game. I don't feel like we were unlucky. We were just beaten by a team who wanted it more than we did. Connor said, seen an interesting image on Twitter earlier. Heat maps for the attackers this season. Firmino is fully playing as a 10 lately and Mane is fully left wing. There's no interchanging. Ashley Young said, our back five is solid. Absolutely. I'd like to see that heat map actually, Connor, so if you get a chance, buddy, send it over to me, will you? And it wouldn't surprise me at all what you said. We had this conversation, myself and yourself, offline, where we said we haven't seen much interchanging. Last season, a lot of the time, Mane was coming more central towards the end of last season. And again, we spoke about that. I said to you at the time, was Mane perhaps taking up the spaces that Firmino was used to playing in? Tom Boland said, sorry if I'm repeating, chat was away from the screen, but what about Sterling being tackled on the pitch and getting a penalty? It's just touched on it, Tom. It's hilarious. I suppose that's the only thing you can say. People are going to say Sterling should have told the referee that it wasn't a foul. I don't want to slate the player for that. He should have. He probably should have. But it was comical. And for nobody to have seen it, for the linesman, the referee's assistant behind the goal, or the referee, none of them to have seen it, or none of them to even looked at the reactions of the players. The goalkeeper was almost rolling around the ground in a mix of anger and laughter. Like, he just could not believe that was given. It was absolutely fucking ludicrous that was given. I don't know what to say, Tom, mate. It was shocking. I honestly think Liverpool can beat any team, said Christopher. We can. We absolutely can, mate. Don't worry about that. As you've said, we can beat any team. And the important thing for us all to remember here is we're having this conversation here. We're nitpicking after a shitty result last night. Let's be honest about that. But overall, we're having this conversation from a pretty damn nice position. 11 games into the Premier League season, unbeaten, 8 wins, 3 draws. Is that right? I think it's 8 wins, 3 draws, isn't it? We drew with Arsenal, we drew with Chelsea. 4 draws, sorry. 8 wins, 4 draws. 7 wins, 4 draws. I forgot that we drew at Manchester City as well. Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal. Was there another draw that I'm forgetting about? Is it 8 wins, 3 draws, or 7 wins, 4 draws? Somebody let me know. I think is it 8 and 3? We beat Spurs, we drew at Chelsea, we drew at Arsenal, we drew at Manchester City. So that would be 8 and 3, would it not? Let me just check that out. I need to check that because it's going to do my head in if I don't. Yeah, it's 8 wins, 3 draws. Sorry, definitely 8 wins and 3 draws. So we're having this conversation from a pretty damn nice position. Looking at the league table now, 2 points off Manchester City. Manchester City playing the weekend, and even compare us to Manchester City to have this conversation around people being disappointed that we're only 2 points behind Manchester City. In one context, it's good that people are disappointed because we have a winner mentality amongst a lot of our fan base that want to push on. But at the same time, let's remind ourselves of the conversation that most of us had in the summer. We were 25 points, I think, if memory serves correct, off Manchester City last year in the league. And a lot of us said that what we wanted from Liverpool this season was a good run in the Champions League and to make a genuine push in the league. To give a genuine challenge in the Premier League. So far we've been doing this. So far we're 2 points off Manchester City. Just 2 points. That is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Particularly when they've got some tricky games coming up as well. Just keep it together is all I'm trying to get at here. Just keep it together. We can nitpick and we're right to be worried about the way we're playing, because I don't think we're playing that well, to be honest about this. We're not being unlucky, we're not creating a shitload of opportunities and they're just not falling for us. We're just a little bit stale. It hasn't been the Liverpool that we've seen last season, and that could be okay if we could see a pattern of the way we're supposed to be playing, or a system that's just not working at the minute. But all of us seem confused as to what we're looking at. I've yet to find a Liverpool fan who can explain to me exactly what we're supposed to be doing in this system, or exactly what little tweaks we can make to this system to fix these errors or to solve this staleness that we're seeing. Henderson is a fine pro. He ran the England team in Russia. Tony said, we're doing much better in the league and not the best in the Champions League, which was different last year. We've done better in the Champions League, can't always do good in both. On that, guys, I mean, the Champions League is well within our own grasp at this moment in time. We've 2 games left to play. We've got a game away against Paris Saint-Germain and a game at home against Napoli. Now, being blunt about this, we could go and lose 53-0 against Paris Saint-Germain, and all we have to do, it really boils down to one thing. We have to win by 2 clear goals at home against Napoli in the last game. We do that and we qualify. Now, if we want to go and win the group, that's different. We've got to go over to Paris, try to get a result over there, and then do the same at home, try and beat Napoli at home. But to just qualify from this group, all we have to do is beat Napoli at home by 2 goals. No matter what happens in Paris, we beat Napoli by 2 clear goals and we qualify. It's as simple as that. So the Champions League is still there. It was at home, said the Reverend. Thank you. Well, then if you're going to West Ham away, mate, are they? I don't know. They're a rowdy bunch. That much I can say. Whether they're thugs or not, I don't know. It's not for me to say. I don't know anyone that's been battered by a group of West Ham fans. I know a lot of really good West Ham fans, a lot of really loyal West Ham fans. I've heard some stories, but no first-hand experience, so it absolutely wouldn't be fair for me to belittle West Ham's fans by saying you wouldn't be safe. Craig, don't see what people are moaning about. We could be top Sunday afternoon. Absolutely. We certainly could. We play at 12 o'clock on Sunday, so we're the first of the big teams to play. The Manchester Derby, is that a 4 o'clock or a 2 o'clock? Let me just check that. I think it is... Yeah, the Manchester Derby's a 4:30 kickoff. Sorry, so we're playing at 12 o'clock. Chelsea Everton is 2:15. Arsenal Wolves a 4:30, and Manchester City Manchester United a 4:30. So, you know, after our game, if we get those 3 points, we are sitting on top of the league. That is true. Everybody else has to go and do their job. Super League is out of our what's this? Super League is out of our Prem. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Lee, mate. We'll get on to Gianni Infantino later on, by the way, and his little talk today about the Super League. Like you say, the league is the main target. It absolutely, for me, mate, it is. I can't speak for anybody else. I would happily take going out in the group stages of the Champions League if it meant that we were going to be right there at the end of the season, right up Man City's fucking ass, right there, breathing down their neck. I would happily take going out in the group stages. You can slate me for that, but for me, it's about the Premier League. I want that trophy more than anything else. 28 years we've been waiting for that. I was 9 years of age last time we won the league. So most of my lifetime, most if not all of a lot of your lifetimes as well, you haven't seen Liverpool win a top level league title, which is too long. Regardless of the other results, all we need to do is beat Napoli by 2 goals and we're in, said Brian. Absolutely. Here's something that'll give you guys a laugh. We often hear that our owners aren't over enough. And other clubs as well, we often hear fans saying that their owners aren't here enough, they don't watch enough games. I found out today, and I honestly did not know this beforehand, Manchester City's owner has been over once in 10 years. Once in 10 years to watch his team play. Once in 10 fucking years to watch his team play. Just once. That's absolutely... Oh, do you know what, Paul? You can fuck off, mate. Paul Connell. I've had enough of you. You're gone. Adios. You whinged all day yesterday, mate, over feeling like your comments weren't read out. Look at the first stream. I read out your comments about Infantino yesterday. I read them out. You probably just didn't hear me. So I'm not going through your shit again tonight, mate. Just go. No more. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, but you're doing my head in now. You did Connor's head in last night as well. Nobody wants to listen to your whinging about your comments not being read out. Just go away. I'm not done. No more, mate. I'm not putting up a whinging on this account. People know that we read as many comments as we can. We counted back last night, and this is no lie for anyone who thinks I'm being harsh on Paul. Myself and Connor sat back last night and we counted 28 comments. 28 comments he wrote. complaining about his comments not being read out. 28 comments that we had to go back through and read to try and see if we were being harsh on the man. So, sorry, we're just not putting up with it anymore. West Ham away will be sound, mate. Nothing to worry about. It's not 1988 anymore, said Brian Morrissey. There you go. Brian's a man in the know. If Brian says it's alright, man, you can take that to the bank, and that's sincere. Will said, nothing would satisfy me more than waving a Premier League trophy in the faces of the likes of Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal. Ferno said, I haven't seen us lift a trophy, let alone the Premier League. You'll get it, mate. Don't worry. You must be quite young then, buddy. I'm not going to ask you your age. It's your own business. 2005 was 13 years ago, so you must be quite young, but it's a beautiful thing, mate. You'll enjoy it when it does happen. I've never seen Liverpool win a trophy. I thought Kiev would be the first, said Anto. Or Tony Kelly, excuse me. So did I. I honestly thought we were going to do it last year. Did you see Sergio Ramos tonight, by the way? He is a horrible little rat, he is. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, another Sergio Ramos-esque situation today where he threw an elbow at a player, burst his nose open, and then turned around and like shocked, like he doesn't know what happened. Why is, and I mean, when I say this lad's nose was pumping blood, I mean literally just like a tap, blood just coming all over the place. And of course he got away with it yet again. It's disgusting. Sergio Ramos is a fucking rat that needs to be stamped out of football. And this has got nothing to do with the bitterness of what he did with Salah. What he did to Salah was just one thing in a very long list of people that he's abused within the game and got away with by making it look like an accident or making it look like he didn't know what had happened. UEFA need to look at this and just stamp that prick out, because this guy's nose could be broken. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen that much blood on a football field in quite a while. It was a blatant elbow, like blatant. The guys on BT couldn't believe he was after getting away with it. It's disgusting. Craig reads so many more comments on the other channels. Mine get missed a lot. Cut the man some slack. We try our best. Sincerely, we try our best to get through as many comments as we can. Nobody on here, we don't like or dislike anybody more than anybody else. Just, I go through them sometimes. Sometimes if I'm on a specific subject, I'm trying to go through comments that relate to that subject. And sometimes then, I know sometimes I mean to go back to things and I forget. So apologies if that's ever the case. But we don't blatantly miss anyone's comments. That's absolutely not something we'd ever do. We love each and every one of you guys. As we keep saying, we appreciate the time you put in to be here with us. So it hurts us when people say that we're mistreating them intentionally, because it's certainly not the case. I've had some beauties that haven't been read out. See, that's something I'd say, Megan Onky. I'm like that on Twitter, by the way. You put out that tweet and you just think this is gonna bang, and then it just doesn't. And then you see some other gobshite tweet that somebody put out that's had 5,000 likes. It's just the way the world is sometimes, isn't it? Lazar Markovic has to get out of Liverpool next summer transfer window. I'm sorry, but this tweet disrespectful to the LFC team and the club in general. I don't think, Louis, you're going to find many people that don't want to see Lazar Markovic move on. I don't really think you're being disrespectful. I think he's been robbing a wage, if we're being honest. He must be really fucking bad in training or something if Klopp hasn't just given him a sniff. He must be really bad. Ferno said, I'm nearly 17, watched us lose 3 finals, wish it turned out differently. Klopp is unlucky with the finals, isn't he? I mean, people can say he bottles it, but that's bullshit. Klopp doesn't bottle the finals. He's not out in the field. When he gets them there, he's a genius, and if it doesn't go right in the final, it's all Klopp's fault. This always makes me laugh with people. Ramos is a rat, but that offence... but is an offence to rats. Excuse me, that isn't a bit of an offence. I don't mean to slag off rats by comparing him to Sergio Ramos. Fuck Ramos, why is he not in prison? If he did that in the pub, that's true, Rod, that is true. I often forget that. Sometimes you see things happen on a football pitch and you just think to yourself, do you know what? As Rod said, if I did that down the pub or I was walking down the street and I threw an elbow at the fellow walking behind me, I'd be fucking locked up. Tony said he's a scumbag and people say he's a good team player. Look, he's a good footballer. Fairness there to Ramos, but he is a scumbag. He is an out and out scumbag. What did Infantino say? Asked 30 Girl. So Gianni Infantino was talking about the European Super League, and he was saying that basically there's no way UEFA are going to allow it to happen, and that there could be sanctions involved for those that go towards this breakaway league. Those sanctions could include, and I'm paraphrasing here, I don't know if Infantino said this part, but I'm just letting you guys know what those sanctions could include. They could include being taken away from international football, possibly even having their registration taken away by FIFA, and there's a few other things as well. So for Gianni Infantino to suddenly start giving a fuck about the state of world football, when there's much more important things that cunt should be looking at right now. We all know what's happening with Der Spiegel. We know the situation around Manchester City. Few things again I want to share with you guys that I read today on Der Spiegel that has nothing to do with Manchester City, but that has to do with Kylian Mbappe. So remind me in a minute to talk about this. But with Gianni Infantino, he's part of a system that stinks. Gianni Infantino was brought in to try and clean up after Sepp Blatter, and what it looks like from what we've seen in Der Spiegel over the past couple of days is that he cowered down. He cowered down to the will of people that were putting pressure on him to try and give Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain weak deals. And by weak deals I mean let them off with a slap on the wrist with regards to FFP. He bowed to that pressure, and if it's been proven in any way, shape or form that there was any political interference and that affected his decision, he should be fucked out of football forever. With Michel Platini, with Sepp Blatter, and somebody should go in there and clean fucking house, because we as fans and the people that run football clubs and run them the proper way, and I'm not just talking about Premier League here, I'm talking about League One, Championship, clubs right down the bottom tiers of English football, clubs all around Europe deserve better than the scumbags that seem to be running the game right now. This is the people's fucking game. It's the beautiful game, and it is being corrupted, run into the ground and fleeced by absolute scumbags at this moment in time, and the game deserves better. I just hope to God that something happens. I hope to God that either the FBI, Europol, somebody comes in and cleans that fucking establishment from top to bottom, because we deserve better. We deserve much better than what we're seeing happening with our game at the moment. If this shit has been proven with Manchester City or Paris Saint-Germain, or other stuff, match fixing or spot betting, all of this type of stuff that UEFA know and FIFA know that has gone on, bribery of officials. There's some stuff that I haven't even spoken about that has happened outside of Europe, that has happened in Africa and South America, bribing of match officials. It's fucking disgusting, some of the stuff. There's some BBC documentaries in Africa as well about this stuff. Google it, have a look into it. What's going on in our game is horrible. Horrible stuff. And as long as the money keeps flowing and the sponsors keep putting their money in and their brands behind FIFA, this will continue. Coca-Cola, Budweiser, Heineken, Carlsberg, whoever else is involved, whoever else sponsors these events, they need to start putting their fucking money and asking questions, because their brands will end up being damaged. And you'll see that happening. They won't want to be associated with FIFA when the shit starts hitting the fan. Money will be pulled quickly. People will want to keep their reputations intact. And I'm talking about companies that really give a fuck about their reputations here. Companies that would have an awful lot to lose by being associated with something that's proven to be corrupt or might prove to be corrupt. And that's the only time these fuckers learn, is when it hits them in the pocket. So let's wait and see what happens. I've been reading stuff from Stan Collymore, I've been reading stuff from Raphael Honigstein, I've been reading stuff from a couple of other journals over the past couple of days around the situation with world football. Everybody's angry, everybody feels pissed off, but it's a sad indictment of where we are, that we feel that a lot of this is going to be swept under the carpet. And for us as humans to feel that way, to feel that that's the most likely outcome, in a society where we're supposed to live in a democracy and we're supposed to live in this society with law and order, for us to feel that this can happen and it'll be okay, we're browbeaten, we're basically henpecked and bet down to the lowest level, where we feel like we can basically have to cower down to these fuckers and allow them to ruin the game that we all love. We don't. I'm sure there's people out there much more qualified than me that can start something to build momentum, that we can try and clean house. I know this is easy coming from some bald Irish idiot sitting over in Ireland, but I love this game with all my heart. I've been involved in this game since I was a child, Every one of you out there love this game. It's why you're on here talking tonight about Liverpool Football Club. It's got to be done. We can't go through this. This cannot continue. Remember when this was our sport, said Liverpool legend. Yes. Fingers in the pie, pound signs at Dirty Girl. Yes, you're right. Jobs for the boys, brown envelopes, jobs for the future, jobs for the family. It's disgusting what goes on. Absolutely disgusting. Can you imagine somebody asking what your job is and telling them you're Mbappe's butler? We'll get on to that in a minute, Damo. We'll get on to that in a minute, mate. Need to get rid of UEFA, said Cameron. UEFA, FIFA, all of them, mate. They're all absolutely fucking horrendous. Now, like any organisation, there will be good people working within these organisations. But if you're working within these organisations and you're not at the top level of this, you're just going to be shut down. You're going to be told to shut the fuck up. You've seen leaks come out. These leaks may have come out from within these football clubs for all we know. We just assume that the leaks that we're seeing from Manchester City, from PSG, from other things, we assume that they've been illegally obtained, but we don't know how these have been obtained. I really hope that all this evidence can be compiled and used against these clubs and against FIFA and UEFA for ruining the fucking game that we love. I mean, this isn't what Dua Lipa sang in the Champions League final for. This is why we all sat there and enjoyed that performance. What a performance that was. One kiss is all it takes. Ferno, I saw that Vunic absolute nonsense, and the thing is people were backing him up. Craig, a lot of dodgy stuff goes on in Asia to do with betting in European leagues. I do know that, Stephen. I worked for an online gaming company, mate. I worked in the security division of the online gaming company, and I don't know only too well about some of the dodgy betting that goes on. Not just in Asia. There was a bit of it going on in Russia when I was working as well. I couldn't believe it when people were backing him. Who's this Ferno? Let me know who this is. I'm not sure who you guys are talking about. I'm going to go back up and see if I can find it. No. I seen us win FA Cups, other European Champions League and Mickey Mouse Cup, but never the Premier League. I was born on the last year we won it, said Tony. So what, Tony, that would make you 28 this year, something like that? Well, obviously it's in and around that because it's been 28 years, but it's a long time, mate. It's a long time. But for any of the Manchester City fans that make you feel bad about it, I think it was like 40 years. Before they won the league, when they got the money in, I think it was 40 years since the last top level title. Brian Morris, he said, FIFA head in USA was a guy called Chuck Blazer. The FBI went after him because they don't really give a fuck about soccer. Is this, if Brian, remind me if I'm wrong here, but is that the fucker that had the parrot? Is he the fucker that went around with the bird on his shoulder? The big fat cunt with the beard that had a bird on his shoulder? Or am I completely mad? Because I remember the whole situation around him and the FBI going after him. I think that is him. I want to think that's him. Stan Collymore not a journalist. No, mate, you're correct. He isn't a journalist. I suppose technically he is a journalist. He is employed by a newspaper to write articles, but I get where you're coming from. I know what you mean. We know what he is. We know what he's done. I was just using him as an example of somebody else who had been pretty annoyed by what he was seeing happening. Just watching the highlights of the Champions League and City are singing "Allay, Allay, Allay," said Kevlar. To be fair though, Kev, that is a song we nicked as well, so we can't get on our moral high horse about other clubs singing "Allay, Allay, Allay." It's been sung around Europe, in Portugal, Spain and stuff for many, many, many years, so we nicked it. So we can't really complain if anybody else has a go having a sing of it either. I seen a tweet about if we didn't have Klopp as manager, Van Dijk would be a Manchester City player. I very much believe that was probably true. And don't underestimate the pulling power of the gaffer, and that's probably the reason why Van Dijk is here. Christopher said, I hope whatever team doesn't play by the rules are punished, but I don't think I will in a few months or even weeks. It'll be swept under the carpet. Timothy Treadwell didn't die for Man City to buy their way to the top, said Connor. I don't even know who he is, but I'm sure you've researched that one. It's all about the money, said Mr. RJC. It is, mate, in this day and age it really is. Dirty Girl said, I like Collymore, he's got a good heart. I would have a very different opinion of Stan Collymore, Dirty Girl. A very different opinion indeed, but he's done some good stuff within football. His coverage of the hooligans around the Euros was excellent, but there's a lot of stuff Stan Collymore's done that I just don't and can never stand over. Cardiff fans doing LA every week, said Brian. Man City groundsman must be raging for Sterling kicking the shit out of the Etihad pitch. True, but at least they got a penalty out of it, and Sterling probably got a 30 or 40 grand. No, he wouldn't have got a goal bonus, would he? Because it wasn't him that took the penalty. It was Martin Lawrence that took the penalty, so he got a hat-trick. Did Martin Lawrence get a hat-trick tonight? I'm fairly sure he did, didn't he? Got 2 penalties and then didn't he lob the keeper? So yeah, hat-trick for Martin Lawrence in the Champions League. Not too bad. He's a YouTuber who claims he supports Liverpool, and when his country win, he forgets all about Liverpool losing. He's a disgrace, mate. There's many of them. Chuck Blazer wore a wire for the FBI. Yeah, the sad thing is, Dirty Girl, he probably did that to save his own ass, and not because he wanted to do the right thing. I think the bearded guy with a parrot is just a dream about what life could have been like. Nah, there's definitely been a fucking bearded guy with a parrot. I'm telling you. There's definitely been a bearded guy with a parrot somewhere, or a bird. Maybe it wasn't a parrot, but there's definitely a bearded guy. A big fat bearded guy with a bird. Subi said, I might be going to watch Burnley and Liverpool. Nice one, mate. Hopefully that comes true. If you managed to get over, send us some images. Let us see you enjoyed the day. Always great to see Reds enjoying themselves. Sorry, Craig, didn't know it was City's song first. LA. It absolutely wasn't their song first. It was a song that was sung in... I know it's in Spain. I think it was in Portugal. But yeah, LA is a song that's been around a long time. Liverpool fans put some excellent words to it last year, and it was an amazing anthem, but it certainly isn't an original. Although no songs really are in football, are they? They're all just takes on other songs. It's been reported tonight. Where's that one? It's been reported tonight Fekir will be announced in January for him to come next summer for a cut price fee, as he'll only have 1 year left on his contract. Who reported that one, Neil? I'm very interested to read that. I wonder how people would feel, by the way, if that was the case. Would everyone be happy to see out the rest of the season if that was the case? And bring in number 10 if you knew Fekir was coming next summer? It's a tough one. It really is a tough one. Basically, David Vujanic, Copa 90, supports Liverpool. Yeah, he was celebrating when Red Star won against us. He doesn't support Liverpool, then he's a fucking gobshite. You can't, like, I support Barcelona and Liverpool, and when I say that, I mean I've been actually supporting Barcelona longer than I supported Liverpool. But I would want Liverpool to piss all over Barcelona if the two of them played, because my heart is most certainly with Liverpool. If we played Barcelona and we lost 2-0, I'd be devastated. Absolutely, and there'd be no way I'd be celebrating a Barcelona goal. That just isn't right. Bearded guy with eye patch and para. You all think I'm mad about this bearded fucker with the bird, but I know it's true. You sure that wasn't Rolf Harris with the parrot? Yeah, so what happened with Mbappe? A lot of people are asking. Sorry, yes. So Mbappe, I was reading up in Der Spiegel today. I was looking for the Manchester City article. And for anyone who hasn't been on there, go and have a look at this article. It's about Kylian Mbappe, and it's about his contract at Paris Saint-Germain. So when Kylian Mbappe was signed in the summer, or last summer, or the summer before, when he was signed by Paris Saint-Germain from Monaco, there was a similar offer on the table from Real Madrid. Both offers were in and around 180 million euro. His father, who was advising him, looked at both deals and feared that if his son went to Real Madrid, that he wouldn't get the game time up front, when at the time Real Madrid had Cristiano Ronaldo there and Benzema and whatnot. So he decided that the better move for his son would be to go to Paris Saint-Germain. So they sat down to negotiate the contract with Paris Saint-Germain, and they asked for 50 hours of private jet hire a year to be included in the contract, which Paris Saint-Germain said no. They got €50 million over the course of his contract, net, and by net I mean after tax. So over the course of his deal with Paris Saint-Germain, he'll earn €50 million net, so after tax. He also gets a €5 million signing on bonus, and he gets, this is the one that really made me laugh, he gets 30 grand a month, so €30,000 every month to pay his staff. So by staff we mean driver, chef, security guard, and groundskeeper. So Paris Saint-Germain, on top of his wages, pay Kylian Mbappe 30 grand a month to pay his staff. Now when this deal was signed, as we all know, George Mendes, or Jorge Mendes, whatever you want to call him, he is wrapped up in most major deals in world football. And he was part of the deal that was trying to bring Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. Now he lost out and Kylian Mbappe went to Paris Saint-Germain. On the morning of that contract being signed for Kylian Mbappe to join Paris Saint-Germain, out of nowhere, at 9:30 or so that morning, 9:20, 9:30 that morning, suddenly there was an alteration made to Kylian Mbappe's contract where George Mendes was to suddenly be paid €7.25 million for the deal, as part of the deal. Now, the funny thing is, nobody has a fucking clue what that 7.25 was supposed to be for, because he wasn't involved in the deal from PSG side, as far as everyone's aware. He wasn't involved in the deal at any stage from Kylian Mbappe's side, as far as I'm aware from reading this article. But because such a massive deal happened in Europe and it didn't work out for the Real Madrid side, apparently he got 7.25 million quid just because, to keep him sweet for any future transactions that might need to take place. 7.25 million fucking quid from Paris Saint-Germain. But sure, what does it matter when it's Qatari oil money? It's only 7.25 million quid. Absolute fucking ridiculousness. Not just that, there's a little bit more around Mr. Mbappe. As good as he is, and my God, he is excellent. Another one of the things his family were worried about, they wanted to make sure Paris Saint-Germain allowed his father to be there for every training session that Paris Saint-Germain took place. He also wanted his the family also wanted his father to be there for extra training in case Kylian Mbappe wanted to do some extra training in and around. And there was a few other little bits and pieces that I can't quite remember now, and it might come to me in a minute or two around the contract. But yeah, basically the one that stood out was he asked for 50 hours of private jet hire a year, which Paris Saint-Germain turned down, but he is given 30 grand a month on top of his 50 million contract over the course of the I don't know if he's on a 4 or 5 year deal, but he gets paid €50 million net, so after tax, during his contract. But yeah, he still wants and gets 30 grand a month for his staff, for his fucking staff. I mean, what type of staff costs 30 grand a month? I don't know. A driver, a chef, a security guard, a gardener. That's not costing 30 grand a month. Absolutely not. Far from it. It's absolutely fucking madness. LA was a random pop hit in Italy in 1984-ish. Can't remember the band. Jamie Webster wrote the version we sing. It's a belter of a song though. Fair play to Jamie. He wrote an absolutely amazing tune. Definitely one of my favourite European tunes from our collections over the years. So well done to him on the way he wrote it. It's amazing. If you want a laugh, Google Jack Warner corruption. Yes, do. I agree with Brian. That was out and out blatant as well, mate. Stan Collymore works for Russia Today, RT State Propaganda Channel. He's working with an English tabloid as well, isn't he? I'm not sure which one it is, but I know he's working with an English tabloid because he had an article in there. I think they're a tabloid. I'm fairly sure. Is it the Mirror? The Mail? One of them. Would you replace Lallana with Fekir? In a heartbeat, mate. I would have done it in the summer. As I said, it's no secret to anybody, I'm not being harsh. I wanted Adam Lallana moved on in the summer. Not because I've any hatred against Lallana. I just felt his time at the club was up. I think we passed by him. He wasn't at the level we needed anymore. Whether that was injuries taking a toll on him, maybe getting into his 30s. Maybe his game was starting to change a little, but 100% I would happily replace him with Fekir. But I've no bad feelings at all towards Adam Lallana. Subi said, Craig, I suffer with depression, and when I'm down in the dumps, I come on this channel and you put a smile on my face. Thanks, mate. That means a lot, mate. Thank you. I suffer with generalised anxiety disorder as well, and often at times before I come on to the show, I'm very nervous and question myself doing it. So you guys do the exact same for me. So thank you for the kind words, but always know that if I help any of you guys out, which is a pleasure and a privilege, you guys do the very same for me. So thank you. Louis said, sorry, my phone died and didn't repost something about somebody criticising Van Dijk. Didn't see that one. Spiegel, clearly a division of the internet activist group Anonymous. Rod is of German descent, and Rod was saying to us that they're what is the phrase Rod used yesterday? They're a political magazine. Is that right, Rod? Am I phrasing that correctly? A social and political magazine, something along those lines. Craig, I think the guy you're thinking of is called Chuck Blazer. That's who we were talking about earlier on. But people seem to think I'm mad making up this bird thing. Can somebody do me a favour, if they've got a second there? Just Google Chuck Blazer and parrot, or Chuck Blazer and bird, and see if I'm right about this one. Every club supporters used to sing You'll Never Walk Alone, even the Manx in the 70s and 80s. That is something I sincerely did not know. Isn't Collymore working for the dogging channel? He may be, Damo. I don't think he quite lists that one on his Twitter bio, but you know, I can't say for sure. What lineup would you play against Napoli? Ben, mate, you'd have to go balls out. You really would just have to go balls out. So I'm talking no changes to the back four, but I would probably go with a back three, but we probably won't see a change. But we'll go no changes with the back four. Fabinho, Keita, Firmino, Salah, Mane, Sturridge. That's probably where I'd go. I can understand Shaqiri going in there as well and moving Firmino back up top, but we need to go. I think we need to have four attackers and not three. Pretty much, I think Imran's team for this weekend is similar to the way I'd be thinking. It's just more, it's not so much as the team we put out, it's more the way that we set the team out to play, and the instructions that they're given by Klopp. We got to get in, like, we'd have to be starting quick, get in Napoli's face, pin them into their own half, press them high up the field, make them play around the press, try and force them into mistakes. Things that we've done before, but things that we haven't quite seen happen a lot this season. That's a big ass garden and kitchen for that money, 30 grand a month, said Tom. It really fucking is, Tom. It really is. Tom, you're an Irish fella, I think, as far as I remember. Oh, you're an Irish fella in New York, aren't you? Sorry. There's an ad over here for the lottery where a little boy knocks on the woman's door and says, I'll cut your grass, and she says, all of it, even the back, and she looks out and she's won the lottery, and the back garden goes on for about 20 miles. You can buy all the ladyboys in Thailand for that kind of money, said Tony. I wouldn't know, mate. I'll take your word for it. The Raptor said, according to football leaks, Manchester City chairman Mansour attended his first game at the Etihad on August 20th when City beat Liverpool 3-0. True. And as I did say earlier on, mate, it still remains the only time he's attended the game in 10 years of ownership. I was saying that to the guys a little bit earlier. So anyone who complains about FSG not being over enough, I mean, yeah, you know what, you're perfectly within your rights to make that complaint. A lot of people would like the club's owners to be over here full time. I get that. But one game in 10 years, that's not great at all, is it? Megan Onke said, I'll be Mbappe's gardener for 6 grand a month. There you go. Maybe we can start a bidding process on here. Connor said, whip up an article scene and search for Chuck. I would, mate, but I'd be afraid what happened last night would happen again, and that I'd end up fucking shutting something down for a couple of minutes. Louise says, Parrot Craig. Chuck Blazer on a bird brings up all kinds of shit, said Rob. Probably does. Chuck and a macaw, said Megan Onke. Stephen Richard says, Craig, has Klein got a future at Liverpool? It seems the answer to that question is no, Stephen. Myself and Connor were only talking about this yesterday. It's strange what's happened with Nathaniel Klein. It really, really is strange. Around the time of that back injury, the one that kept him out for a very long time and the one that nobody was given any updates on, whatever has happened there seems to have shaped his Liverpool career going forward. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's an injury that's worse than we know. I honestly don't know, but it doesn't seem like he has got a future at the club, which is a shame because Nathaniel Klein is a very, very accomplished fullback. But we've seen that if the manager isn't happy with Trent, that he moves Gomez over there. So I'd say no, but it is a confusing situation. Shaqiri has to start against Fulham, said Louis. Maybe he had a caca and not a caca, said Rod. I was reading that and I was thinking, I'm not going to read this one now. I'm going to make a bollocks of reading this one out. Lallana's not good enough in that midfield. We want to have a good midfield like Man City and Chelsea. We need to stop being loyal to our oldest players unless they're worth it. To be honest, I don't see the big love in over Chelsea's midfield too much. They have players that can keep the ball, but other than that, I don't know. They're not getting the best out of N'Golo Kante. Jorginho is doing what Jorginho was brought in to do, which is keep things ticking over, keep playing passes, keep moving it, but I wouldn't call their midfield the most creative midfield in the world. I would call them a very good, solid, professional midfield that can keep possession of the ball and move it around, but I wouldn't put them on the same level as Manchester City's midfield. Then they have creativity all over the place. The Raptor said, has Shaqiri got a future against Fulham? I'd say so, mate. I'd say he has. I'd say his future is bright. Shaqiri has to start most games for us, the only creative player in our midfield who can do a job that Coutinho did. Well, here's the thing. I agree, and here's why I agree. If you brought in Shaqiri in the summer and you didn't bring in anybody else for that 10 role, you were openly admitting that you needed somebody for that role. Now, I don't buy into the belief that Shaqiri was brought in instead of Fekir. I honestly believe we would have seen the two of them come in if Fekir's deal had have gone ahead because of whatever reason. Let's put it down to the medical history, just for argument's sake. I think that we would have seen both of them. I think it was the sheer price of Shaqiri made the deal too good to turn down. A player that had been linked with the club before, but for 13 million quid or 13.5 million quid, that was a no-brainer. So to get back to your point, Fernand, to bring him in and not play him would just be silly. So yes, I agree. If you bring him in and you're basically admitting that you need that 10 or you need that attacking mid, which is why you were looking at Fekir, then you have to play him and you have to play him more. Louis said when we change to a 4-2-3-1, we actually do so much better. I think it might just be the 4-3-3. Maybe a change of formation might help them a bit. I'm fully on board for changing that again. I'm fully on board for going to a 3-5-2. And by 3-5-2 I mean 3 centre backs and pushing 2 players up a bit further up. Whether that be Robertson or whether we put somebody else on the left, I don't know. But I'm all up for playing a back 3 at some point. I think just the players we have really suits that system. A back 3 with Lovren, Gomez and Van Dijk I think can do a job. I really, really do think they can do a job. And I also feel that worst case scenario, obviously we have Matip there as well, but worst case scenario I think you could adapt Andy Robertson to defend on the left side of a back 3. Obviously Mbappe isn't mature enough to pay his bills, said Mr. RJC. Did you see the Liverpool fans singing You'll Never Walk Alone after the match last night? It was beautiful. I didn't, but it wouldn't surprise me at all, mate. We have the best away fans in the world. We have the best fans in the world, but definitely the best away fans. And Connor was telling me that the guys were kept in there for more than 2 hours, I think, after the game ended. So, well done to them. Whoever made that trip, congratulations to them. I mean, I'm continuously blown away by how amazing the away Liverpool fans are. Subi said, we're a big family on here. I think we're all proud to be a part of it. I know I certainly am, and I sincerely mean that, I really am. Pep's response to the Sterling penalty, but last season Liverpool and Milner could have the same for the pass to the second goal in the 44th minute. Fucking hell. I'm surprised he didn't throw in the can of Copperberg as well there, Anthony. Why not? You're really going full out on Liverpool there. Why not throw in the can of Copperberg? Chuck, who's a pretty boy Glazer. That should be his nickname, Stephen. That really should. I think Chuck Blazer inherited Rod Hull's emu. Shaqiri was bought because he was a bargain, said Megan Onke. To an extent, yeah, probably, but he's still an excellent footballer. So, for whatever reason he was bought, he should have only been bought if there was a place for him in the squad, or if the manager thought that he could do a job. I mean, they're not just going to buy him because he was cheap. If that was the case, they could bring him in, keep him for a year and sell him on. And do you know what? We could all be made look like fools, and that could very well be what's done. I hope it isn't, because Shaqiri deserves better than that. And I don't think it is. Brian Morrissey said, Klein must have done something. The fact he's nowhere near the team is kind of weird. It is kind of weird. It is. It's very fucking odd. I remember in the summer having conversations with a lot of people. Trent finished the season last year so well, and a lot of people were wondering, like, will he be the starting right back for the season, or will Kleiny get back in? And it hasn't even been a fucking serious question. It's been all Trent. Even if Trent has put, done a few little things wrong here or there, there's never been any suspicion that Nathaniel Klein is going to come in to replace him. Was the only one the League Cup game? Did Shaqiri start that, or not Shaqiri? Did Kleiny start that game, or am I away with the fairies? Kevla, Craig, are you married with kids and work? I always wonder how you dedicate so much time to us all. Yes, mate, I am married and I have 2 kids. I have a daughter who's 14 and I have a son who's 6. I have an amazing wife called Sabrina. Actually, I have a funny picture I'll put up and show you them that I took yesterday. She's going to hate me showing you this, but I already put it up on Twitter, so fuck it. Where is it? Yeah, this is the lunatics that I live with in my house. So, a Cookie Monster, a fucking Elmo, and a little Batman son hanging out, the 2 of them. But yeah, I do want, with regards to work, mate, my situation is very, very complicated in the way I make money. I make money through gambling. I make money through a few little bits and pieces. We make money through various ways. I don't want to get into them on here because it's my own business, to be honest. But I do have a lot of free time, but the main reason that I don't have a 9-to-5 job is my son, because my son needs care and attention. My son has autism and he's hard work, and my wife couldn't do it on her own, and I certainly couldn't do it on my own. So, it's a team effort, and we have to be here for Lucas a lot of the time. So I can't work a 9-to-5, can't work a night job, have to be creative about the way I've made a living. But I always have been since I was turned 18. I've always been an entrepreneurial sort that had my fingers in a few pies. Sold a little few businesses over the years, turned over some profits on them, lived off them. You get by, don't you? Like anything else. Never going to be rich, but touch wood, the lights are on, there's food in the kids' stomachs, the heating's on in the house, and you get a holiday every now and again. And for me in life, that's all I can really hope for. Anything else is a bonus. Does anybody remember the rumours that Klein was found out taking drugs? Yes. I always try and avoid saying that. But yes, I do remember that. Nothing was ever shown to be true. We've got to stress that. Absolutely nothing. But there was lots of stories going around about it. There was some stories about other things as well. But all we can say for certain, and the only thing we have the right to say, is that he had a back injury and that he was left out of the team for a long time. The injury was worse than we thought and he didn't get back in. As fans, like honest fans on here, that's all we can say, because anything else is just conjecture and guesswork. I love my new Liverpool extended family, said Louise. Well, Louise, you know what, you've been a joy to have on here, as has Stephen, so thank you to both of you for your continued support as well. It's great. I love having this Liverpool family. Adagoki, is that your name, buddy? I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. I think the midfield is not providing a good link between the defence and attack. You're spot on. It's something that keeps coming up, mate, and it is a problem. But you're right in what you're saying. Cookies, said Damo. Absolutely. cookies indeed. There was rumours that Klein could go to Leicester City. Maybe. I'd love to know. He's not as old as you might think either. Isn't Klein only 27 or 28? Like I always say in my head that he's about 32, but I think he's only about 27 or 28 years of age. Trent would make a great win back. He fucking really would. He really, really would. Moreno would make the worst wing back in the left hand side either, if you had to give him very little defensive responsibility and his main job was just, to get forward. I think he could do a job there as well. He'd be gone at the end of the season by the looks of things. Hopefully the dwarf will emerge from his cave and show Fulham, said Subi. He will. I have a feeling Shaqiri's going to play that at the weekend. He can't not play, surely. My question really would be around Naby Keita. Do a lot of people expect Keita to play at the weekend? Or are we going to see Milner and Gino Wijnaldum again? I honestly don't know. It's tough because Keita's only coming back from an injury and we haven't seen the Keita that we expected yet this season, and look, that's okay. Takes time to settle in. Injury hasn't helped. But I'd still like to see him, do you know that? I think Fulham will be a good game to give him a chance to dominate that midfield in. Especially up against Seri. I think he could teach Seri a lesson or two. Craig, no one's bothered how you make money as long as you're doing right by your family and not doing any harm. Well, look, when I'm not talking about drugs or anything like that, mate. Everything I do is completely legal in every sense of the word. There's just too many fucking things. As I've said to you guys before in here, I have sold earphones by the boxes of 1,000. Like, I've done some really weird things to make money. Holden's independent trading, you mean? Pretty much, Raptor. Just a poor man's Del Boy, something along those lines. As I've said to you guys before, to give you a hint, I'm now on my 54th car at 37 years of age. So, that'll give you, an idea of some of the things I do, like buying and selling cars. You buy a car, think you're getting it cheap, move it on, just keep turning over little bits here and there. That's about it really. My only guess about Klopp is he wants to keep everybody happy. That's why he bring Lallana and Matip. Sturridge is alright for another season. My only guess about Klopp is he wants to keep everybody happy. That's why he's got Lallana, Matip and Sturridge for another season. Do you know what, mate? I think Jurgen Klopp is ruthless underneath it all. I think he gives players, he comes into these agreements with players for a season, doesn't he? So he says to his guys at the start of the year, you're my guys for this year, put your trust in me, I'll put my trust in you, we'll have our backs. And then he makes that contract with the players at the start of every season. But I think deep down he's ruthless, and he knows that he has to be, because at the end of the day, he will live or die by his own decisions, and he can't have too much of a soft spot for players, because he knows they have to deliver, and if they don't deliver, he has to move them on. Craig Trotter. Craig, how you make money is nobody's business, said Christopher. It's cool, Craig, you're a gigolo. Well, there you go, you've nailed me. There you go. I didn't want to say it, but there's a big market out there for 3-inch knobs, and I am milking that market dry. Let me just say, milking it dry. That's why Craig's the #1 Only Fools fan. And Arthur Daly. Don't forget Arthur Daly. For anyone who doesn't know what Arthur Daly is, if you're too young, it's from a show called Minder, which was brilliant. Craig, mate, you're making money. Just about, Subi, just about. Myself and Connor, by the way, have been working really hard in the background on our new project, the new podcast that you're going to hear about over the coming weeks. It won't be out for a while longer, because we're working on getting the first series or the first season of this podcast in the bag before we get going. I'm really excited about it. Really excited about it. We've got some good people lined up. Some really interesting topics, a great name, and lots of interesting stuff to come. So I'm very excited about it. I hope you guys will enjoy it. You'll see a new YouTube channel for it as well. It's not going to be on this YouTube channel, so you'll have a separate channel just for this. And you guys have supported us on this, so I think if you like this, you will really like the other one, because it's going to be done on a very professional level. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be done. There's only going to be one of these a week. If even at that, we're not guaranteeing one a week, but there'll be no more than one a week. But I think you'll like it. I really think you guys will like it. We've worked so fucking hard on it. Even getting the guests, it's something I'm proud to put my name to, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a real passion project for me and Connor, but there's a lot of work, research. Yeah, it's going to be good. I can't wait for it, and I can't wait to be able to tell you guys more about it as well. Maybe Terry can give Ramos a drubbing. Terry, which there was two though, you see. There was Terry and there was, who was the other guy? Who was the? There was Terry was the boxer, but then there was Ray, Terry and Ray. So there was two of them. Terry all day though. Why did you remove that comment? Level Scouser's comment was absolutely fine. Again, he wasn't being abusive, so no need to remove his comment. I'm going to read it out because I think it was a fair comment. I don't agree with it, but it was fair. So Level Scouser said, "We're shy. End of. Our playing style is boring to watch. Nothing like last season. It's embarrassing to be a Liverpool fan at the moment. I hope Klopp goes back to attack mode like last season." This is his opinion. I disagree with the gentleman's opinion. I would like to see us go a bit more attack minded. That much I would agree with, but we aren't shite. I think that's very, very harsh, mate. We are unbeaten in the Premier League. We've won 8 and drawn 3. So to call us shite when we've got a record points total ever in the Premier League is over the top. I understand your frustration, because we all feel the same way. We all feel frustrated that we're not seeing the same Liverpool, but don't call us shite, mate. That's a little bit over the top. Ando said, "To be honest, I never said we'd smash Belgrade away. It's a hard game with the mad atmosphere, but I thought we'd show up and get a result. I thought we'd beat them. I'll be honest, Anto, or Tony, excuse me. I thought we'd go over there and win, because we should be going over there and winning regardless of the atmosphere. We are a professional football team with very, very high level players. We should be going over. If we consider ourselves one of the best clubs in Europe, we should be going over there and getting a result. No disrespect to Red Star, but you know, we should. We really, really fucking should." Do you still speak to Cash? Haven't seen her in a while. Well, yes, I do. Like, there's been no reason not to speak to Cash. I just think everyone's kind of drifted in their own directions. Cash is really busy. She's studying journalism as well at the minute. And kicking ass, I'm sure, at it, because Cash is excellent at whatever she does. But no, don't really speak to any of the guys that much these days, because everybody's really busy. But there's no reason why. There's been no fallout or anything like that. I love all the guys: Chris, Dave, Cash, Tom, all of them, all brilliant people. Just people lead busy lives as well. Not sure Klopp underestimated Red Star at all. Great at home, said Brian. What was the name of the pub and the gravity? It was Dave, and it was the Winchester. The Winchester Club was the name of the bar. And Dave was the poor old fella that had to listen to Arthur, and Arthur never paying his tab. Mr. RJC said he'd also disagree. But to be fair to Level Scouser, he's come back and says, I mean, performance-wise, we're shy. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been entertaining at times. It's been very frustrating looking at the lack of creativity up front, or the labouring to try and get creativity up front. A lot of the times we've launched too many diagonal long balls. Too many balls up the line to Mo Salah. Too many diagonal balls over the top to Sadio Mane, and we haven't been getting bodies up to back them up. So yeah, I get where you're frustrated. We're all frustrated about this. Winning ugly is something that I will happily do, but you've got to be winning ugly. I mean, the result in Red Star is just unacceptable on many levels. There's just no way we can justify that result and sit here and make it out like it's anything other than a shit performance from a group of players who were capable of a lot better. It comes off the back, I suppose, of people being disappointed about a draw away at the Emirates. We went 1-0 up. Would have been nice to see it out. A draw isn't the end of the world. we haven't had a good run. Let's be honest. We've lost in the Champions League away at Napoli. We lost at Red Star. We had that draw at Arsenal. We haven't been playing to our standards lately. I think that's fair to say. I think we can all agree that this isn't the same Liverpool that we'd hoped to see. And he also said we should have clicked into gear by now, which I would have liked to have seen as well. So, you know, the wording of the gentleman's comments I wouldn't agree with, but his sentiment, I kind of get where he's coming from on most of it. My opinion is is that how you pronounce that, Rod? Put Red Star behind, we move on. Don't underestimate Fulham, said Tom. You can't afford to underestimate anyone, mate. You're right. We cannot afford to underestimate anybody. We have to go out here at the weekend and do a job against Fulham. But I fucking hate these early kickoffs. I'm not a fan of these early kickoffs. The 12 p.m. kickoff on a Sunday it's disgusting. I don't like 12 p.m. on a Sunday. It's madness. Eventually we'll click into gear. Just be passionate, said Tony. Raptor said in response to Level Scouser, we're second in the league and we haven't lost in the league. How's that shite? Which again, Raptor is stating facts there. We are second. Did I say facts? Facts. We are second in the league and we are unbeaten. Pep Guardiola seems to be thinking a lot about Liverpool. His comment on Milner for the Sterling penalty today proves that we're on his mind, said Mike Haynes. He's obsessed, mate. He seems to be fucking obsessed. Between that and the can of Copperberg and him having a little dig at the police in Liverpool not being able to find any proof or being able to pin the can of Copperberg on anybody, even though they looked through hundreds of hours of surveillance, he can't seem to let that one go. He just can't accept that they were knocked out of the Champions League by a team who beat them over two legs. And what he should be accepting is that his actions at half time or before half time in the City of Manchester Stadium that caused him to be sent to the stands was just as culpable for his team not getting through or not winning that game. So he needs to look in the fucking mirror rather than just keep pointing the finger. Does Mr. Guardiola. I have the height of respect for Pep Guardiola. I think most of the time he is a very, very nice man, plays football in the right way. I find him a very respectable fella most of the time, but whatever it is about Liverpool, whether it's because Klopp has got the better of him on a lot of occasions, I don't know, but they seem to have gotten under his skin, and that's a fucking beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing, and long may it continue. So long may Pep Guardiola be absolutely obsessed and driven mad or taunted by Liverpool. I mean, long may it continue. Think like that, act that way, and you make mistakes when you come to play these teams because you're reacting on emotion. We've seen how Pep Guardiola set up when he came to Anfield this year. That was the height of respect for Liverpool, and he got his point. So, you know, credit where it's due. But he didn't come here to win that game, and they should have won it. But Mahrez missed the penalty right at the end. But that was a different Manchester City than we've seen in any other game this season. No matter who they're playing, away at Spurs, away at Arsenal, it doesn't matter. We haven't seen that Manchester City against anybody else except Liverpool. And I would venture to say we won't see it this weekend against Manchester United. They'll be more attacking minded this weekend. Not being that guy, but the Winchester was a private members club, not a pub. Indeed it was, Brian. Indeed it was. Can any of you see us winning anything this season? If I was Klopp, I would go all out in the FA Cup. As the league will be cities yet again, we've no chance in the Champions League. You're very defeatist, Level Scouser. We've every chance in the Champions League because we're still there. Our best hope of winning the league will be that Manchester City are obsessed with the Champions League, because that's why Pep Guardiola was brought in, to win Manchester City the Champions League. That is what they crave more than anything. That's what the ownership wants. That's what everybody at that club wants, is to finally be accepted and to finally have their place at the top table of European football with a European Cup. And if he doesn't get that, he'll be out in his ear in the next couple of years. I've no fucking doubt, because that's what they want at that club. Now, that is where we could have the chance to not catch up with City, but maybe even take a step ahead. So I wouldn't be ruling out the league campaign just yet. We're 2 points behind City, unbeaten as Raptor said. I think there's a long way to go. And whilst we're still there within striking distance, I see Liverpool as having every chance of winning the Premier League this year. Every chance. Raptor said, if you've watched us as long as I have, then you realise that it's the result that counts. If you want glamour, then you're in the wrong game. Check out the results from the 70s and 80s. And Raptor, to that extent, mate, check out most of the fucking trophies that Jose Mourinho has won. We've often said, like, we don't like the guy one bit, but he's a serial winner. And he's won things fucking ugly many times. Maybe Klopp has realised the intensity is too much. I think we'll turn it up in the second half of the season. And there's a conversation to be had around that, Cameron, because we've burnt out previously. Last year, I've made the point a few times, I've let you guys know that we were the most rotated team in the Premier League last season. And maybe that's the case this year. Maybe the sports science guys in Klopp have sat down and thought to themselves, if we really want to push on two fronts this year, we want to go far in the Champions League and we want to really make a push in the league, then we have to have the legs come January, February time. And maybe this is why. Maybe Klopp is wearing out some players in the hope that in the second half of the season we'll have Fabinho coming in, we'll have Naby Keita hitting his form, we may have Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain back for the end of it, I don't know. And we'll have other players coming in fresh that maybe we'll get that bit of new blood almost at the latter end of the season that we hadn't had. So fingers crossed, you're right, mate. Fingers crossed that could be the plan. It could be a rope-a-dope here, you never know. Seriously though, we've played really well twice, Spurs and PSG. Our performance level is disappointing, but we're in a good place league-wise. I'd say we played well at home as well against Red Star, although not against the same level of opposition, although they beat us away, to be fair. But I'd say we played well in 3 games. But yeah, 3 games out of, how many games we played this year? 4, 11, 15, 16. So 3 out of 16 I think isn't great. But we've got the results. We've got the results in 8 of the league games. Stephen said, Craig, I just don't like negativity. That's why I blocked that comment. But negativity is unfortunately part of the world, Stephen. I hate it as well. I'm a very positive person in the main, and I like to try and put positive stuff out there, but we're here to let fans vent as well, and as long as people aren't being negative for the sake of it, or being negative in a abusive way, I think he was just phrasing his stuff wrong. I think he was saying what a lot of us feel, but maybe just a little petulantly phrased his wording wrong. He didn't come on and slag anybody on here. He wasn't saying Klopp out, anything like that. I get where you're coming from. I would just rather we get people like that come on, and I'd rather we help them think about it in a different way, or phrase it in a different way, so that we don't see this get carried onto Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. I think we have a duty as fans to self-police as well, and to help each other out, whether that be with stuff we don't remember, or new facts, or different ways of looking at a game, or just helping each other along, or helping each other through these difficult times, or through our own frustrations. Craig will have to cheer on United against City on Sunday. I know. Fucking, I know, mate. It's gonna... I don't know if I know how to watch it. I don't even know if I can bring myself to watch it. I may just have to just turn on the result at the end and see what happened. I would be fucking... I would stick in my throat if I had to cheer for them. I don't think I could do it. Yeah, I really don't think I could do it. Craig, he's so negative. We can go for the Champions League. Rival fans saying we had an easy group last season. The group doesn't matter though. See, this is the point. If rival fans say we had an easy group last year, fair enough. But most teams will get out of the Champions League groups. Most of the decent sides will get out of the groups. So we got out of the Champions League group. And where did we go from there? We went to Porto and we slaughtered them. We beat them away easily, and then we took them home and finished off the job. Then we got Manchester City in the quarter-final, the favourites for the competition. We beat them home and away. We got Roma in the semi-final, a team that had put out Barcelona in the previous round. Beat them at home, just about got through away. and then got to a final against Real Madrid. So we beat a lot of Europe's finest on the way. You show me other teams that go over to Porto and do what we did to Porto. Anybody who's saying we had an easy Champions League group, doesn't matter. We got through the knockout stages, we got through the quarters, we got through the semis. That's what matters. I mean, you can get a tough group and get out of it and get beaten in the last 16. You don't get any extra points for that. So I don't buy that. Besides, Manchester City have had easy groups pretty much the last 3 or 4 years in the Champions League. Look at the group this year. Lyon, Hoffenheim, and fucking that crowd they are playing tonight, Shakhtar. It's not really a tough group, is it? Craig, I started the week in the back of an ambulance, so whatever happens this week is a bonus. True, mate. That's a nice way of thinking. I'm so glad you're here, or I'm so glad you're well. And it was very nice of Louise to let us know and keep us up to date. So great to have you with us, Stephen. And as you said, you started the week off in a bad way, so whatever happens is a bonus. It's a good way of looking at it. Right, Raptor. Raptor said he's off. Talk to you soon, buddy. Yeah, talk to you soon. Negativity is part of open discourse. We don't want happy clappy fanboys on here and nothing else. Exactly. It's good to be challenged as well from time to time, to have our views challenged and to discuss things in an open dialogue and a friendly way. Yeah, you're right. This is a melting pot of fans. We won't all agree all the time, but there are plenty of channels that do that, and they're quite fucking boring. So a little bit of a new blood or a little bit of a anger management every now and again isn't too bad. Subi, don't worry about that, buddy. Not a bother. You enjoy and go enjoy your game. Mr. RJC said 59 watching but only 30 likes. Confusing. Guys, look, if you are on and whoever there's 59 on, do just take a second please and hit that like button. It only takes a second, but it does mean a lot to us. And guys, if you haven't subscribed or you're watching this on playback, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Guys, what is it, 10 to 12? We'll probably finish up for tonight because there's not too much new for us to talk about. Did City buy fans to fill out the Etihad? It wasn't full, mate. There was lots of empty seats. City will probably be the only team to beat Porto that score, maybe even Dortmund. It's one thing saying it, but we did it. We went and did it. How do you think our performances have been this season? I think they've been good except for a few games. Jay, I think they've been professional, mate. That's the word I'd use. We've got done what we needed to get done. We haven't been pretty a lot of the time, and that's okay. At the end of the day, as Raptor said, when people look back and you look at the record books, all that matters is the W beside your name or the points that are on the board. So it's been professional a lot of the time, but we can improve. We can definitely improve. And if we can improve from the position that we're in now, then we're going to be in a good spot come the end of the season. Good night, Subi, mate, as well. Always a pleasure. Right, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there, if that's okay for tonight. My voice is still a little bit sore from yesterday. Yesterday was quite a long day. We had a 2.5 hour stream for the game, and then a 2 hour stream that night as well. So my voice is struggling quite a bit. What do you think of Man United's amazing comeback tonight in Turin? Fair play is what I think. They didn't deserve it over the course of the game, but that doesn't matter. All that matters is the score at the end of the game, and United put the ball in the net twice and got a win. So, what else can you say? They went and got a result. That's, big teams can do that in Europe, and United are a big European team, so kills me to say it, but, they did what they needed to do. The moron Sterling could be fair player of the Champions League here, but say nothing about his penalty today, said Lars. Made me so angry. City should win anyway without that penalty. It was disgusting, but I don't know many players that probably would have said anything to the referee. We'd like to think everybody would, but at the end of the day, a lot of them probably wouldn't. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, Lars. It wasn't right. And you would have liked to have seen Pep come out and just say, we got one today. We were lucky there today that there wasn't a penalty. I feel sorry for Shakhtar. But you're right, it wouldn't have affected the game. And he scored an amazing goal as well. So fair play to him for that one. But yeah, it just goes to show again that we're not shocked by this. That we're not feeling shocked by a player cheating. Did he cheat? Is that fair to say? I suppose. Did he appeal, or did the referee just make the call for him? He went down because he kicked the ground, so he didn't dive. He didn't go looking for the penalty. But I get where you're coming from. He could have said something. Yeah, it's just one of them things. It's just another indication that football isn't as white as we'd like it to be, and by white I mean whiter than white. And by whiter than white, just in case that phrase doesn't explain itself, I mean like holier than thou, clean. Yeah, so there, there is still an underlying thing about cheating in football, and yeah, it's a tough one. I don't want to pin the blame on Sterling too much there, because he may have felt. I don't know. I don't even want to try and think about it. I don't want to try and defend him either, because he's a snake. As a City fan, that honestly didn't really matter. He scored that amazing solo goal. It was a great goal that he scored, to be fair, Raheem Sterling. It was a really, really good goal. And he's a very good player. Having a great season, and will probably go on and be one of the better players in the Premier League this year. But I don't know what else to say. I don't really give a fuck about Man City, to be fair. The referee's vision was restricted by the Shakhtar player. That's true, but he also had an assistant behind the goal, and he had a linesman as well. So there was 3 of them who could have got the decision right between the 3 of them. So, anyway, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it didn't affect the result. I would say Zaha's dive against Arsenal was worse, said Tony. I can't remember that one, to be fair. How do you think Mane has been? I think he's been the best out of the other 2. I think he's been pretty good, to be fair, Jay. I said at the start of the season, I thought getting that number 10 shirt would give him a little boost of confidence. And he's been doing okay. He's been quietly going about his business. He scored a beautiful goal recently. I think he's okay. He hasn't quite been at his best, but then again, none of the front 3 have. I don't like people trying to look too much into his contract situation and try and cause shit about it. That there's time for that to be sorted. He's 2.5 years left on his deal. They could revisit that again in Christmas. They could revisit that at the end of the year. But I think he's been doing okay. Did Liverpool lose yesterday? Yes, mate, we did. Not trying to take the piss. We did. We lost 2-0 away at Red Star Belgrade in an absolutely shitty performance, and we got what we deserved. Right, guys, on that one, I'm going to say goodnight. So I will chat to you guys tomorrow. Thank you to everyone that joined us. Welcome to our Man City supporter as well, and anybody else that joined us from the opposition fans tonight. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys, on the way, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Up the motherfucking Reds.